Hello, Gordon. Robert here. This is the chia seed pudding recipe I promised you days ago. Sorry, got a little busy. And it would have been easy just to type it up in 5 minutes and email it to you. But I wanted to make it a little bit more exciting and I wanted to practice my PowerPoint skills. So I'm hoping that you find this a little entertaining. It's not perfect. I'm still learning, but at least I'm doing. Okay, I'll look forward to some feedback if you are so kind to do so. Thank you. Now, there are only four ingredients to make this tasty treat: chia seeds, almond milk, or coconut milk. I've been using both, and the coconut milk is cheaper because there's a lot of coconuts here in Thailand, and the coconut milk is actually 100% pure. Then there's maple syrup, which I have to get from Canada, and then there's vanilla extract. It takes all of 10 minutes to make this. And I will have the recipe written out on the very last slide. Well, chia seeds deliver a massive amount of nutrients with very few calories. It's got 11 grams of fiber, 4 grams of protein, 9 grams of fat, 5 of which are omega-3s, 18% of calcium of the recommended RDI, manganese 30%, magnesium 30%, and phosphorus 27%. These little seeds really pack a lot of nutrition. I was so surprised to learn that. There is a grocery store here in Chiang Mai and other parts of Thailand. It's called Rimping. They cater to the foreigner who may want something to satisfy their cravings, their taste buds of the foods they miss when they're here. Like Skippy peanut butter or Lay's potato chips or hundreds of things that you can get here at the store that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, after all, how much Thai food can one person eat? I'm sick of it. And plus, it's not good for me. Rimping is a very high-end store, and this is where I buy the almond milk. I buy my natto here, and pretty much everything else I buy at a store called Macro, which I can talk about at another time. Well, maple syrup has to be imported, obviously. It comes from Canada. And tasting it, it doesn't have that deep maple syrupy flavor for some reason. I guess maybe it's not even real maple syrup, but this is all they had. So, and the recipe calls for this. This is about 3 years old. A vanilla extract which I had in California. I took it to Thai. Actually, it's actually longer than 3 years old because I've been living in this apartment for 5 years, and I've never used it until yesterday when I made the chia seeds, the pudding. It requires half a teaspoon, but I always put in more like a teaspoon. Now the chia seed pudding is on the left. Can you see it's kind of like a pudding? The blueberries are on the right. Those are frozen blueberries, and I figured out how to make them as fresh as possible, where it doesn't sit and become syrupy and soft. That's, I guess, maybe another video. I read that frozen blueberry still has the same amount of antioxidants as fresh. Fresh would be better, but this is still all I got, which is reasonably priced. A kilo of frozen blueberries costs 250 baht, or $7 for 2.2 pounds, which lasts me a good 2 or 3 weeks. I use them in the oatmeal. I use them basically just in this chia seed pudding. I must admit, I do miss going to Costco and buying the 2 pounds of fresh blueberries. I used to buy the blueberries a lot. I guess they're so healthy for you. But fresh blueberries here is like $4 or $5 for a small pint, and that's just way too expensive for me. This is a 32-ounce mason jar, 4 cups. I use 6 or 8 of these every single day with sprouting and making different kinds of drinks. These mason jars are invaluable, and they're real expensive here in Thailand. And I actually brought a lot over when I came here. Now, what I used to do is I used to put the milk and the chia seeds and all the ingredients, and with a whisk I would just swish it around and shake it up until I thought it was smooth. But it was not easy to get it smooth. It would clump up because of the size of the jar. So what I do now is I take the bowl, I put all the ingredients in the bowl, I take my whisk and I whisk it until it's really smooth, and I transfer it into the mason jar, and then I let it sit overnight, and in the morning you will have the most delicious pudding you've ever tasted, which is so healthy for you. Usually things that taste good aren't healthy, but this is really healthy. So I'm very high on this particular pudding right now. Yes, I also sometimes use frozen blackberries, ground up flax seeds, and frozen strawberries from time to time. It's the most tasty treat which takes no time to make, as you can tell. I actually make it and eat it a lot because I can make it so quick. So I hope you've enjoyed this. This is the end of my presentation, and that's it. The chia seed recipe. There are 4 ingredients. You want 6 tablespoons of chia seeds, 2 cups of almond or coconut milk, and I've used both. The almond milk's a little lighter than the coconut milk, so it seemed to gel more like pudding than the coconut milk, although it was just as tasty. The coconut milk seems to be a little bit denser, a little bit heavier, but again, very rich. It tastes really good. Half a teaspoon of vanilla, and if you're like me, you're going to throw in a teaspoon because I really like vanilla. And then 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. I was going to cut it to half because of the sweetness, but you know what? It really isn't that sweet, so I just stick with the 1 tablespoon. Now, all I can say is that this is the most delicious, nutritious pudding treat that I've had in years, and this is why I made the PowerPoint to illustrate that. Okay, this concludes my PowerPoint presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it. Feedback would be appreciated, and just look in your email. I'll be sending you the link.